I actually think there's a kitten on my chair behind me. Damn thing. Right. What am I doing? That's what I'm doing. Hooray. Alright, we have basically an array of magnets here now. They look a bit like crocodile teeth, truth be told. However, the idea is that you have this kind of LIM array and it's going to shoot stuff out, and that's going to be cool. Okay, this is our interesting shape that I quite like. Now, it's supposed to actually be part of a prop engine array. However, I don't see why it should just be a prop engine array if we can use it for other things, which is kind of what I want to do, to be honest. I mean, you know, look at it, it's lovely, lovely. Oh, lovely you are, lovely. Sorry, I just like saying that word sometimes. Okay, so we're going to assume, you know, kind of, why are you not moving? Oh, you're saving. We're going to assume that this is quite a lot smaller than it is, just so that it fits inside it. And we're going to bring that down to there. Now you'll notice we have these handy dandy holes in here, and I never ever considered when I was building this that, you know, I'd be using it for a big robot railgun. In actual fact, when I first started building these sets, I was like, oh, I'm gonna make a transformer, which is a cool plan, but I didn't. And there's a reason I didn't, incidentally, so don't get all like, oh, why didn't you? I didn't because there's already tutorials on that sort of thing anyway. Some really good Japanese ones, a couple of good American ones, from Gnomon. Don't hate Gnomon, I advise you. You know, if you like their stuff, use their stuff. But what I wanted to do was build a little something slightly different. It was kind of custom to me, so I felt that by the time I'd got anything even remotely close, then it would probably be too late, really. Do you think it'd probably work out better if I know I'm talking to you in a kind of past remit, but I think it'd probably work out better if I lined these up with magnets, because then that would have more semblance of order to it. And then keep that one there, yeah? Do you see where I'm going with that? I hope you do. Basically stick them in between the magnets. I don't want to overcrowd the inside of the weapon, you see. It's, in my opinion, it's kind of going to be silly if I do. Oh, my Pekingese. Just going to move these around a bit. I could add kind of a plethora of pipework and tubing to this, and I may yet. So don't think you're off the hook, because you're not. I would actually like to do that in this section. You're like, oh, why? Why, Chris? Because we want a model that looks good, that's why. How often have you looked on 3D sites, you know, where they have galleries and gone, oh man, look at that, I wish I knew how to do something that detailed. That's the whole point of these tutorials. It's not just to make you sit and watch me whiffling on about, you know, unfortunate friends who had tragedies, or the state of my pets, which is just filler, really. Whilst you're watching me doing this, I just need to keep you interested so that your brain stays awake long enough to absorb what I'm doing. This is also a way for me to get your skills up, you know. I want you guys to be really, really, really proficient 3D artists. That's why I'm doing this, which is stabbing myself in the back, really. I mean, if I wanted you guys to be crap artists, I could probably keep you guys as customers a lot longer by selling you shoddy training. But shoddy training, not good. Right, now remember what I said, I'd like something to come out here. So, what I can do is I can work on this piece, or I can work directly on this piece. I think I'm going to work directly on this piece. And this is going to take a little bit of effort. Now I could have it literally come out and plug into this magnet and this magnet array, which would be cool. Or I can have it come out and plug on the side of the gun, which I think would add a little bit of over chunkiness that I'm not comfortable with. So, I'm going to just zoom in, and again I apologise for the fact that the darn thing has its issues now and again. And what we want to do is create some wires and cabling that are going to come off this and plug into there. And we're going to do it on both sides, yeah? So, let's take this and its friend here, and this one's friend here, hide unselected, or isolate even. It's isolate. Okay, move my isolation box down here where it's out the way. So what we need to do now is find a way of connecting these together. Now, important, remember, these are at different distances all the way down. So if we create a static model, dynamically it ain't going to work as well. But remember what we did with the splines, and splines are adjustable. Gets good at this point, doesn't it? Or we can use hoses. Hoses are also adjustable. You ever used a hose? We can use a hose. Make a nice change. Let's go over to space warps. No, helpers, yes. Dummy, yes. Use auto grid. I'm going to pull out 2 dummies. One here. Behave you. Just going to wait patiently. Save takes a minute or two when you've got really big files. So one there. Then one next to it, just about there. Just don't let the boxes overlap if I can help it. Okay, now I'm going to put another pair of dummies. One here. One here. Okay, next I'm going to get some hoses. Hoses are just down here in our create tool, and we want to create a, where is it now, dynamic object? No, that's springs. Springs are cool. I think it's an extended primitive. It's been a while. Yep, there it is. Now you'll notice this funkadelic shape here. There, don't want that. So we can turn off the funkadelic shape. Let me just move this isolated window over here. Okay, and flex section de-enable. Press F4, you can see it's got myriad little bits and bobs. You can change that down because we don't need tons. To be honest, about 12 is going to be enough, I think, for the minute. And then if we go to our round hose type, you can change it as well. We've got D sections and stuff, but round hose, increase the sides to round about 15 or 16. 16 will do probably. Actually, sod it, 22. Did that make any sense to you? Nah. Okay, go up here, and we're going to make it bound to object pivots. Now, remember we made these dummies. It's not just because they sound funny. Just going to go into the modifier panel for our hose, pick our top object, just wait until it goes to this dummy here. If you have problems, hit F3. Okay, it's got a box 60. We don't want box 60, we want it to go to a dummy. You see this middle mouse button? I can't even afford to get myself a replacement mouse at the minute, which is annoying. So that's dummy 2. Then down here, and I know you think to yourself, oh, he's a millionaire. He makes tutorials. Yeah, yeah. Whatever. Okay, pick bottom object. There we go. Right. Look at that, isn't it beautiful? Right, why's it done that? It makes no sense. Yeah, it does make sense. Let's have a look. First of all, the tension's at 100. So let's reduce the tension. Rather a lot. Secondly, the way that this is placed, our dummy object down here, our dummy's rotation's wrong. So we'll fix that too. 1 minute. Rather than duplicating this over and over again as well, I'm going to delete this dummy and just duplicate the entire process. There we go. So if we take this dummy here, just selected, I'm just going to my rotate tool. If I just rotate it 90 degrees, 180 degrees, see, it's fine. Absolutely fine. So now, to go here and change the diameter of my object. Like so. Okay. And then, if I go here, and just, bloody thing. Hang on. Right, sorry if I seem a little bit disparate. I had to pause for a moment. A little bit of a problem I had to deal with. Right, let's see. I think I want to reduce the diameter a little bit more. I'm going to say radius, but it doesn't give me the radius option really. And then I want to duplicate this. I'm just going to grab all the parts that make it up. Like so. Not you, you. Fine, I'll just mark you, grab it if I have to. There we go. And then deselect this piece. And if I go to my move tool, you'll notice that's moved across for some obscure reason there. I think I must have accidentally dragged it. There, that's better. Do it again. There's a cat on the back of my chair again, but never mind, I'll live. Oh, now it's walking across my printer. Now it's doing cat things really. Okay, so we've got these pieces here. What I'll do is do this and just click OK, and the hose will now bind to the second set of pivots. Okay, didn't used to do this in Max. It's actually a fairly new thing for it. Now what I can do is take the second dummy area just there and do that. See, so now we have two hoses coming out here, and then we can do the same again and have two hoses kind of coming up here. If we adjust the tension a little bit on these, okay, the tension's basically the I'm not actually seeing that too well there. And one cat removed from my desk. There we go. If I adjust the tension anyway, like I'm saying, to about 10 on each side, that should reduce the amount of hoseliness that goes on. Although for some reason I'm not seeing the hose at the moment. Go figure. Let's just undo that. There we are. Darned thing. Right. If I convert this to an editable polygon, you see the bounding box is all screwed. What if this is an existing bug in Max or something? Probably is. I'm going to recopy this. I've never actually hit this error before, and I'm quite curious, so I'm going to keep my recording going. You know what I'm like. I'll keep it going in a storm if I have to. So just duplicate it again. Interesting. Right, what I need to do here is increase the segments in my hose. Okay, because there's not quite enough for my liking, so 17 is probably good. This one's only got 12, so I'll move this one to 17 as well. Okay, it's interesting this, because when I make changes to it, you'll notice that it hasn't actually carried the changes on. I detect subterfuge and mystery. I don't like it. I think I'm just going to use edit polys. Not edit polys, edit splines. Solid. So we've already hit the wall for this one, and it can bugger off. Right, so we've got our two dummies here. We may as well make use of them, eh? So what I'm going to do is basically come out from a line from here to here. I'm going to just draw my box. But you're thinking, why did he do that? And he hasn't even deleted the tutorial. Well, it's an alternate way of doing it, and frankly, this is irritating me. And I'm doing it this way instead. Do I need any more reason than that? There's a cat scratching things that I'm going to have to kill in a minute. Anyway, splines, lines, Calvin Kleins. If I just have a simple line with just two vertices in it, so 1, 2, 3, just get it buried all the way through in here, like that. Okay, I get quite a lot of control power over that. I'm just going to move this away, select my line, and just just go to rendering and just enable in viewport. It's not so important about the enable in render a bit. Now for the line, I'm going to select this line part here and just do a smooth. So you'll notice that this now transitions across like that. Okay, now I need to increase the thickness of my line to what it was with the other one. And if I go to the interpolation, I can increase the segments a little bit. I think 12 steps for this much is probably ideal. Now I don't need the boxes anymore because I'm just literally using splines. So I delete that and that. There we go. And then I can just copy this across, you see, very easily, as long as I can select the line itself, hold shift and just drag it. Let me get 2 copies. Yep, simple. Anyway, back to this one. Select the line, select the bottom part of the line, move that along to there. Now, because I'm doing this, I'll need to move this part as well, like that. Okay, that's good. Now what I need to do, ideally, is make the copies I'm going to use of this. So, if I just turn off line here and just do a shift and drag, wait patiently for save to do its bit. Save loves doing its bit. There we go. We won't get quite as many weirdnesses going on now, you see. I like hose, but sometimes it can be a little bit weird, and then sometimes you have to create each hose individually, and then sometimes horrible things happen. Okay, let's see, maybe move this bottom one across to this edge a little bit more. It's important we get this right kind of first time, really. Put those in there. That's good. Next, I'm going to make another 2 copies of these lines. And this time I'm going to go to there. Actually, I might lower them down a bit, just have them come in there. Makes slightly more sense. And now if I go to my endpoint, start moving things around a bit. Just get them into the right area. Which should be round about the middle of this, to be honest. Just try and rock it until I get the top part about straight, which is there. Okay, that's good. Now this one's still in the wrong area, but what I'm going to do instead is just delete it and just duplicate this one instead, because it's going to be easier coming from this side. Okay, get them in more or less the same position. Open the line tool out. Just move the end line in. And that one too. And I'm going to need to work on this a little bit more because it's not in the right position, it's still twisted. You can add an extra vert if you really feel that you can't do without it. You'll notice these are slightly angled. We will be using tricks to get away with this. Naughty tricks. Bad ones. Ooh, they'll make you angry. Okay, so we've got our lines. Let's attach all the lines together. There we are. Now what can we do? Well, we can stick an edit poly on top of them, I suppose. Good thing about edit poly is, you see, that if I then grab this and do an extrude like that, and then drop down to my line, don't show this again, and show end result, you'll notice it's still there, and if I open my line, I can still move parts. See? Madness, isn't it? How does it work? We don't know. Right, back here. Anyway, need to make sure this is turned off. Back to edit poly. Now, I'm not planning on animating this, which is going to make this considerably easier, to be honest. What I really just want to make sure is that I've got my hoses looking like hoses. That's the important part. Okay, I'm going to look at this and do a slightly different way to the previous one. So I'm going to go here, and then I'm going to miss 3, here, here, there. I'm finding newer, faster, funner ways to do it. Oops, that wasn't a fun way to do it, was it? There. There. There, why not? Do it again here. Okay, come out there, just trying to keep it as even as we can. We're going to get some interesting shapes here, so don't worry. Good thing is we don't have to make the hoses even, because if they look completely the same, then people's eyes are again drawn to symmetry. Remember, in the same way they're drawn to symmetrical faces, they're drawn to symmetrical objects too. Weird how we're designed, isn't it? And yes, I could have used the hose and the weird kind of inset-y thing that it does, but I don't like it. Okay, let's do a ring. Let's wait for save. You done yet, save? Of course you're not. Okay, click ring. There we go. Got too many rings over here, in fact. Let's see. I'm going to deselect this one. Okay, ring. Make sure we haven't got any doubles. We don't want doubles. Control, select by polygon. Okay, and now we're going to inset it a little bit, so we just need to extrude. And we're going to extrude by local normals. Don't bring it in too much because it will look silly. There we are, like that. Just click tick. Next. If I go over here, oh, hang on, before I do, I also want to take off our end polygons. Quite important, this bit. It's amazing how often, like, you just don't do it and you forget. You'll notice it's created these 2 polygons here. It always does. Got to do it over here as well. Delete this one. And then down here. This one's actually complete in a kind of amusing manner. It's probably because it's not turned as much as the other ones. There we go. Alright, next. So you can see these are still editable shapes, which is cool. Next, I'm going to go up here and use Turbo Smooth. Now Turbo Smooth has obviously made it a teeny weeny bit overly funky, but that's okay. Don't want isoline display. Go to Edit Poly. Show End Result turned on, you'll notice. Still. Now we can go to our graphite modeling tools and use the Swift Loop function. Which obviously gives us a lot more control. So we're just going to go down and do this. And you're going, oh man, he's got to do this 4 times. Well, 1, you know, it won't take that long. 2, it's going to look nice. Is there 3? It probably is. Can't remember what it is though. Go back to Turbo Smooth and just stick on isoline display. Yeah, so anyway, it's going to make it faster and easier. I mean, I could just do 1, I suppose, and duplicate it back into the spaces it was in, if that's what you really want. If you don't want to watch me doing it over and over again. Tell you what, I'll do that. How does that sound? Would that make you happy with me again? I hope so. Then we can be friends. I'll come round, have a coffee. You can show me pictures of your holidays. You'll notice what a difference it makes doing it this way, incidentally, in just a few. And we're just adding like mad levels of detail to our model. wrong one. Let's go this one. It picks up the nearest edge, you see. Remember, we had problems with this in previous tutorials segments. Okay, so you can now see the difference compared to the rest. Drop back down the line, and I think, see if I select by spline, I can literally get rid of them. Like so. There we are. Now you'll notice it's dropped the oh god, what's it called? The keep forgetting what it's called. Turbo smooth, yeah? So we've lost the turbo smooth again. Why have we lost the turbo smooth? Doesn't matter, let's stick it back in anyway. Edit poly, swift loop. You're always going to get strange results when you do stuff this way. But you think to yourself, this tutorial has just been never-ending bugs and errors. Yeah, but you're watching my errors, aren't you? Are you going to replicate my errors? Think carefully. Don't fib. And even if we collapse this stack, we can then stick an identical looking spline inside it anyway, and just make it an IK animated piece of geometry, which we can really easily set to the right place as well. It's amazing, isn't it? You thought probably, oh, the barrel of the gun, we're nearly done. Ah, that's amazing. No. Any part that's a predominantly visible part of a model needs to be considerably more detailed than the other parts. Away it goes. Rules of the road. Okay, turbo smooth. Let's dump on top of the turbo smooth and edit poly. What we do, drop down to turbo smooth again and turn off isoline display, then go back to edit poly, because otherwise it's going to look a little bit weird. Okay, over here I'm going to select this edge, do a ring, control select by polygon, just extrude it out a little bit. You notice I don't have group extrude on, so I'm going to extrude by normal. Sorry, I do have group extrude on. I'm going to extrude by local normals. Once, and then again, like that. Click tick. And I'm going to select here, here, ring, control select by poly, like so. Now I'm just going to bring these up, like that. Now I'm going to select this middle edge here, do a loop, and bring that up. See, so it's all the same model. It's got its own mounting point built into it now. Over here, we want the same kind of thing, really, don't we? So, go here, do a ring, do a control select, do an extrude, click the plus button, and again, close it, extrude it again actually. There we go, click tick. Getting a bit closer. Select here and here. Okay, gonna do a ring. Control select by. Now I'm just gonna move this out. Just like that really. Oh, didn't want to do it that way. Silly old me. Want to do it that way. Select this one. I'm going to do a loop. Lift it up a little bit. There you go. That's all we had to do. Okay. Done quite a bit here. Showing you how you can make some amazing errors. Got to stop. Move on to the next part. See you there.